Hey everyone, Imagine Your Gods. This is Diesel here, sitting here with Kitty. He is about to show us a deck profile. What are we looking at here, Kitty?
This is Altmile.
Altmile, the new Altmile stuff.
Most people like to run Brave. I call it Altmile Rush.
Altmile Rush. Okay, cool. So it's a variant, not exactly pure Brave, but...
So starting off, like everybody else, I run Electos, because despite it not being Brave focused, it does use a lot of Brave cards.
Okay.
And just generally, because just like I said, it's a rush, so usually I just have them tapped whenever I can to give another unit plus 3k.
Okay.
Then for trigger lineup, 8 crit, 4 being the Altmile ones.
Makes sense, yeah.
Always good to have the extra power in the draw. Then for the Brave stands, what he does is, when he's placed down, if you have 3 cards in hand or less, you got Brave, at the end of turn, you draw a card, you shuffle him back into the deck.
Okay, yeah.
Then 4 heals, I just use the trial deck ones because they're pretty.
Okay. Now, if you could, would you use...
I might switch, like when the Fire Collection stuff comes out, I might switch them out.
Switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for grade 1s, I run 2 Support Sorcerer of Damascus. It's at Brave, and at end of turn, if you're at Brave, you retire her, draw a card, on flip 2 damage.
Okay.
Which is very important in this deck because it's Counterblast heavy.
Super Counterblast heavy. Okay.
Then for Salim, while he's in the deck, he's a grade 2 if you're at Brave, and have an Altmile Vanguard.
So he is searchable as a grade 2.
Yes.
I see.
And at Brave, he gains 3k.
Okay.
Then 4 of the on-flipping perfects, because like I said, you run out of Counterblast quick.
Yep.
So it's always good to have the on-flipping ones.
So G4 perfect.
And then 4 Stride Fodders.
Which, yeah.
Pretty standard.
They run well with Altmile. They run well as Stride Fodder. They're good cards.
Then for the grade 2s, 4 Suleiman. At Brave, if you have Altmile, he gains 3k. When he attacks, you can Counterblast 1 and drop a card, search up a grade 2 and give it 2k.
Yep.
So that kind of, it builds up, it keeps you at that Brave and keeps the attacks running.
Yeah, Suleiman, pretty normal fare for Altmile decks. He's just good. I mean, like, what are you gonna do?
Then I have 3 Albions, which he's Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 when he attacks. Call a Brave unit, and give that unit Brave. If it hits the Vanguard, at the end of turn I can pop it back to hand.
Alright.
Now this card, I might move up to 4, just because when I need him, he's usually just out. He's gone. He's out of the deck.
Right.
I've run into times where where I could use him to call the Brave Altmile and be like swinging for another attack.
Right.
But then at that point I'm kind of out of Altmiles or him.
Okay.
Do you find the counterblast too much?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's what's been holding me back on.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, he said that the deck's very
4 Knight of Twin Swords, but I think I might move him down to 3 for Albion.
So the other one.
I mean, the good news is he's not needed for the Brave. He's not Brave restricted, but he does need a boost.
And he also does not have Brave. Is that right?
Yeah, he does not have Brave.
So, what are the benefits of running Albion over Knight of Twin Sword?
Albion is searchable with every card that searches in the deck. But the grade 3 Altmile gives 4k to a Brave unit. So if I were to call him, I can't give him the 4k.
Okay, I see. So it would be more beneficial to run slightly more Brave.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so speaking of that Altmile,
Now we're at the 3s. I'm running 4 the new Altmile. He makes the deck work so well as opposed to what he did before. On the plus side, you're not dead riding into something that's not Altmile, since most of my deck needs the Altmile name.
Okay.
But at the start of your ride phase, you get to call a unit from your hand for free, and then give a Brave unit 4k.
Okay.
Then when you stride, for free, you get to call a unit and give that unit 4K.
All right.
So at this,
So you play them, you call something 4K to something at anything.
well, no, not when you play him because it has to be at the start of the ride phase.
Sorry, at the start of right phase. Yeah. You call him, or he's there. You call something +4 to something, anything, and then when stride, call something else, and that thing gets 4K.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right there, 2 units before
2
you
unit
even.
kids, an extra +8 on the board. Nothing wrong with that.
And then his GB2 is good too, because when he attacks, he can give up to 5 rear guards 4K each.
Okay.
So if you're out of stands, you swing the Vanguard, get nothing. Well, 4K to the other 2 columns right there.
Right. I see. Okay. Yeah. So just you play that ability based on what you know your deck to have left trigger wise. Okay.
Then the old Altmile, he's still good though. Though even before we had the new one, you would never find me using his stride skill, just because you don't have the counterblast for it.
Right.
But if you're if you can't stride, because your first stride always flips over something nowadays. His GB2 helps so much because it still gets those nice numbers because he gets 5K to the front row. And that's a continuous effect, unlike the new Altmile where he's auto when he attacks, give it. This is continuous. So GB2, everything in the front row is 5K. So if you constantly calling things, they're all still having that 5K boost.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, again, just quick power numbers. Your goal seems to be just lay things out, have Brave active, and just do what you need to do. Like, don't worry about whether or not you're going to have things to guard because you're not trying to get there. Okay. So what does the stride deck look like then?
The stride deck is 4 Aerial Divine Knight Altmile. Generally speaking, your first stride, always. He flips himself over, that gives you access to GB2. And then the whole front row gets 2K. If you already have like a G guard or something over, he calls a unit for free. A grade 2 unit. And then on your second stride, you're most likely, because at this point your opponents had to deal with a lot of numbers on that first stride turn.
Sure.
If you're going second, then you're the one with the first big numbers, and they got to guard all that.
Yeah.
So next turn they're probably close to dead. So you're probably right into transcending the Heavens Altmile, which for every face-up copy of him, he gives the front row 2K each.
Okay.
So with this skill, you'll flip over another copy. Front row gets 6K. Continuous, so it's not just like this. It's not on attack.
Right. It just sits there, and since it's continuous, if you call any more grade 2s to replace the grade 2s that you played, they will also gain the 6K.
Yes. And then when he swings, you get to call a grade 2 from deck.
All right.
So he produces his own attack, and while I'm at it, I run 2 of him. Just because sometimes if I can't finish them off, I like that. I like to have the option for the next turn.
Okay.
Now the next card is Selfs. Depending on the situation, you might stride him first. You Soul Blast 1, drop any number of cards from your hand into the bind zone, and then give a unit 5K. At the end of the turn, you get those cards back. So he's kind of there to help the brave. If my field's full brave, I just have too many cards in hand.
All right.
Then I run 1 Clotennis. Quite frankly, I have nothing else to run. I'm going to see what we get from Fire Collection.
Right.
I know some people would probably run Saint Blow or something.
Sure.
But he just, I don't get. Generally speaking, in our locals, a lot of our players at our locals play retire or lock decks, so I never get to keep my full field.
Right. So this is your Link Joker solution.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm gonna wait to see what we get in Fire Collection because I'm hoping it's really good. Then I would have 2 Fetus though.
Okay.
2 Fetus, unfortunately, don't have them. Just short on money.
Put them up there. Great.
Yeah, put them up here.
So now 2 Fetuses. We're sitting on.
That's what he does is when you Shit, I can't remember. I know he on attack. He gives 2 units 5k.
Right. But the point of him is the 5k.
Yeah, is the 5k, and I get the free call. If you call a Brave, you draw a card.
Okay.
That's the point. Is to kind of
just keep cycling into your hands.
It doesn't use counterblast, so it helps.
Right,
in
and
the deck.
it's free. Yeah. Okay.
Now then, I have 1 Sabreeze to G deck. Every G deck should really run 1 Sabreeze.
Yeah, you run a Sabreeze. Yeah.
Interesting enough, my Messiah deck doesn't. Found that out the hard way one time.
Oh no.
Then I run 1 Holy Dragon Brave Lancer Dragon.
Okay.
This card surprised me. I kind of threw it in just in case I was, stuck somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But the week of this, the Try 3 drop, the week after I ran the deck, and this card actually helped me in most of my games.
And what does it do?
He's Counterblast 1. When he attacks, I can call up to 3 units from my deck with a Brave ability. And then for every unit I call, I drop a card from hand. But I run him when I'm going for that end of turn push. Because the big thing about this is that you're at Brave, you're kind of throwing your whole hand down.
Well, I've got 3 stand triggers in my hand, so F that. I'd rather have
more attacks.
3 attackers, right.
And then at Brave, whenever a unit attacks, he gives that unit 3k. So he still adds those numbers that are going to make it harder to guard.
Right.
Then I run 2 Laser Guard Dragons. He gets 5k shield if you have 1 or more grade 2s on the field.
Right.
There's another card out that gets, if you have 2 or more, he gets 10k shield. But like I said, a lot of our locals run retire decks, so I'm not guaranteed to have that second one.
Right. You'd prefer to make sure you guarantee the 5 than make the 10 an iffy.
Yeah.
Which is true. And that's a big deal, guys. Remember, you got to play to your locals sometimes. So when you know that your locals is full of people who are running kegs and Link Joker.
Kegs. I like that.
Make sure that you're doing the right thing.
And then the last 2, Divine Knight of Godly Defense Igraine.
Okay.
Well, at GB1 Brave, she gets 5,000 shield.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can Soul Blast 1 if my Vanguard is Altmile. She gets 10k shield. So right there, she's a 15k shield. The only issue I've had running her is that I run a lot of cards at end of turn. I draw a card.
Sure.
So first attack, she's not a very good guard.
Right.
So when people are like, attack with the Vanguard, I need to guard it because.
So you're hoping to guard then with Laser Guard.
Yeah.
Okay. And
because in this deck you need the counterblast, so my strategy is usually to take it early.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's a solid thing. So your early turns then are actually playing things down and getting the field set up and just going as hard and as ham as you can right off the bat. How does this deck fare against people who attack the rear guard?
Not too well, because it's just like Aqua Force. They kind of know you need the rear guard, so they're gonna go after it.
Okay. How well is this deck constructed to deal with the meta as it is?
I want to say pretty good. I mean, it gets the big numbers for multiple attacks at big numbers.
Uh-huh.
They're not like Asha numbers. That's insane.
Yeah. Okay. How does this deck fare when you are playing against a deck like the Dimension Police decks that just get sick numbers across the board? Like, do you fare okay, or do you just go ahead and go, I'll soak it this turn and find out if I make it so that I can push through?
Pretty much. But the big key to this deck is that you're hoping to win on your second stride generally. Your first, right. If you can win on your first, you're good. Your second, as good. But by the second stride, you're out of resources.
Yeah, you're done.
So at that point you're really hoping that they either mess up or they just don't have it.
Okay.
But second stride, if you can't win, writing's pretty much on the wall.
Yep. Now, this versus the Brave deck, is one strictly better than the other? Do you prefer to run it because it's just fun? It's more fun, and
the Brave deck goes for more attacks at lesser numbers.
So the Brave deck is definitely trying to get like many attacks.
Yeah.
And how many attacks do you normally see?
In a Brave deck, I want to say no less than 4, but no more than 6 on a good turn.
Okay. And what
Whereas my first two turns are usually about 6 to 8 attacks a turn.
Okay. 6 to 8 is a pretty good number to have.
But like I said, that costs me all my resources.
Right, and it also has to do with the idea that if your opponent hits a trigger, it starts losing its power, just like old Aquaforce used to be. So no, that's cool. Any suggestions to players who would want to play this?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty simple to do. It's just you just kind of got to keep playing it so you know what to call it when.
Right. Okay. Make sure that you have a good idea of when you're going to need 1 grade 2 versus Knight of Twin Sword or whatever. Right. Okay. Is there a special turn that needs to be shown and set up, or is it just pretty...
No, I pretty much described the general turn. You're just going to keep going for as many attack as your counterblasts allow, and then if you have it, Damascus, get some of those resources back.
All right. Well, thank you for showing us the deck, and guys, thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments, and we'll make sure that we get to them another time. We'll see you later. Bye.
Announcing the IYG Stand-Up Series. Experience a new level of competition. Face fighters from across the country. Meet your favorite personalities. Ash, Diesel, Propellant. Let's play card games together. Stand up, Vanguard. Imagine your goddess. And check this